Like the only thing the screamer does is when you kill him, there will be less enemies. But you really want to have more enemies. Like at some point of time in this game, after 5 years of playing, you really want to have more and more enemies and play this game skillfully. And the only way to play this game skillfully is to have more enemies. Like I don't mind the bugs at the end, I don't mind the OP weapons, but I really don't want to have an enemy which literally causes less enemies to spawn. And there is no mutator in this game which allows to have more enemies. Like the only mutator which will probably call more enemies is Restless Horde, but all it does is basically reduce the timer. And the screamer is the only enemy which will cause the spawn rate to stay at a higher rate, and it will cause more specials and normal zombies to spawn constantly, and there is no mutator to allow that for it. Like the game literally has the possibility of having more enemies. It's just that they are getting bottlenecked by this enemy, which is the screamer. My idea of changing this enemy is to not touch it at all for now, but I really want to have a mod or a modded server where you could literally get rid of this enemy and instead keep the spawn rate at a very high rate, as if the screamer was alive, except you wouldn't hear the screamer at all. He wouldn't exist in the game. All you have is the game as if the screamer is alive throughout the game. So the spawning in that modded server or the modded game would be such that the screamer is always alive, but you wouldn't see the screamer. He wouldn't scream at all. Like right now, the only problem with this enemy is that his scream is annoying, and the only reason I kill the screamer is because he's annoying and he makes an annoying sound. That is the only reason why I kill him. Otherwise I wouldn't let him leave just because I want to kill more enemies. The other problem I have with the screamer is that the screamer is extremely buggy since the release of the game, and they haven't fixed it. Now the screamer has three kind of bugs. First of all, every time a player crosses a checkpoint, the screamer is programmed to despawn. It doesn't matter if you are shooting him, it doesn't matter if he's screaming or he's idle, it doesn't matter. The game will despawn him when you cross a checkpoint, and that is a problem. Like generally you do not want that to happen, and he should be alive, and I really want them to fix this issue and make it such that he will always scream no matter what. It will make the game harder, but it is much better than that. The second issue is that sometimes the screamer will leave his spot and start chasing the players, and I really do not want screamers doing that because it makes the game easy. Like players do not have to do anything, the screamer just runs away and gets to the player and gets killed, and it's easy. Like he doesn't cause any issue at that point. Like he's basically non-existent as an enemy, and that is a bug that hasn't been fixed. It's an aggro bug. Like it's something to do with aggro and losing the aggro of a player. The third bug is like a screamer will sometimes get alerted and not scream at all. Like he will just be oscillating in a certain position. Like this happens a lot in maps like Moscow, in Moscow 4 subway, where he will just keep oscillating and not scream at all and not cause more zombies to spawn, and that is a bug and it hasn't been fixed. Let this enemy stay as it is for the vanilla 5 skulls or everything, but we really need a modded difficulty such that in the modded difficulty this enemy doesn't exist at all, but in that modded difficulty the difficulty will be such that the screamer is always screaming without the screamer, and the spawn rate will be such that there is a screamer alive but he isn't screaming. So it's an invisible screamer, but the spawn rate is constant as if there was a screamer screaming, and that would be much more fun. Also, like I tried to zoom in on his name, but like not that I can decipher any name or anything. So he's a construction worker and nothing more than that.